Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crimsonpanda here with another mercenary meta video. Now in today's video we're going to be focusing on Cthulhu, and we're going to be taking a look at the impact that it's had on the meta and also the comps that people have been playing. But before we get stuck in, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has supported the channel so far. We are extremely close to 3,000 subs and we are going to be doing a giveaway. So make sure you give this video a like so that other people can see it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps more than you could even imagine. So thank you in advance if you do hit that sub button and obviously that like button as well. So with that being said, let's head over and check out the impact that Cthulhu has had on the meta so far. Okay, so here we have all of the Cthulhu comps. Now this is filtered by all players at the moment and a minimum game of 100, because obviously Cthulhu is very new and there isn't many comps that people have been trying it in. Obviously the old gods for the obvious reasons, and then there's just a few little tweaks as well. We're filtered by win rate as well to see which comp is performing the best at the moment. So as you can see here, with only 100 games played, and this is, like I said, in the all players range, we have a 66.3% win rate, and this is using the Old Gods opener and then the Shadow Bench with the Maestra with the Mask of Mimicry as well. So the one thing that stands out here for me is that Yashara is actually using the Heart of Yasharaj, where passive, whenever this Merc is attacked, it gains 5 attack. Now I imagine the reason behind this is because of how much blues are in the meta so far, and they're just going to be popping off Yasharaj, I guess. So there's no point in having the idol to give it extra attack, and there's no point in having the defile because there's no reason, because you're not summoning any extra minions that you're going to benefit from, because you don't really have the speed. The 6 speed is going to slow you down, plus you want to be using that taunt so that you can get Cthulhu off in the late game. So I imagine that's the reasons behind this one. It seems to be doing very well, but what you might notice is that once I filter it out to say top 50, that one actually disappears completely. So it's only in the all player range against, I imagine, people that are at quite a low MMR. It's either that or the games itself being very low, which is making that comp succeed, I imagine. So definitely gonna have to try this out myself and see what impact the Heart of Yasharaj actually does. But the idea behind most of these comps is to taunt up with Yasharaj. Yogg is going to swing in, which is going to bring your Maestro off the bench, and then N'Zoth is obviously summoning a spawn, so that Cthulhu is going to have the bench equipment, so he's going to get an attack every time you summon a old god. Which obviously N'Zoth does very well every single turn. So Cthulhu does come out quite meaty in the late game, and with the help with Vol'jin you can get a nice big AoE or some really nice one-hit snipes, getting a tentacle out quite fast. So that's the idea behind the whole Cthulhu builds. So that's the 66.3. The difference between the other ones here, so we have Yasharaj with Rage Unbound, and then it's going to be kind of playing out the same, where Yogg goes in, Maestra comes out, but this one you're going to be using Yasharaj's idol on turn 2 so that you can do the insane attack buff with the third ability, and then obviously you're going to have a spawn from the N'Zoth, which is going to benefit from that, and also your Maestra is going to be able to attack at a 4 speed after being able to benefit from the buff it got on the second turn as well. And then in the late game, Cthulhu is obviously going to come out and still just do a few little bits. It's going to still have the bench buff because it's on the bench, so it's going to come out pretty strong, but you're not going to have any of that extra benefit from the Yogg battle cries, where it's going to be a quick AoE in the late game. But still, this one is performing really well. This one has a very big game sample size, so this is the most played one out of all of these comps. So yeah, definitely the most popular one people are choosing to play. Just below that we have the same comp here, but instead of using the idol of Yasharaj, which is kind of the whole idea of this opener, they're using the mark of Yasharaj, which is Defile Burrow's attack. I don't see the point in this one because you're only summoning one unit. The Kazagos and Vol'jin opener with Yasharaj works better with this. So this is a very weird one for me, which is probably why the win rate dropped with the games being lower as well. Just below that, there is a summon comp. So this one obviously works with the Defile, the Mark of Yeshuraj bar on the attack, because you get not only the summon from the Zoth, but you get the summons from Cho as well at a 5 speed. So Yeshuraj is going to benefit from all of that. And then what's interesting about this one is that they're using the Shadow Queen Azura on the bench as well. I imagine that's so that you can get some extra heals with your Shadow abilities, your Cthulhu and Vol'jin, and also prevent some of that spell damage coming in with Queen, and also have a very fast, quick AoE if you're against a slow comp, or even with Vol'jin and Queen at the same time. It's going to be a 0 speed AoE, kind of like an AoE cookie snipe in a way. Apart from you don't get the buff, you just get a little heal. So underperforming, unfortunately. So this is at 48.3 with the same game size. So the one above it, with just using Defile with the one summon, seems to be working a little bit better here. And then the last one is actually one where the only comp here, which starts with Cthulhu. So the idea behind this one is obviously using Yogg to lower the battle cries of Cthulhu, or the abilities of Cthulhu and Yeshuraj, so that you can use Rage Unbound on turn 2, so that Cthulhu gets the buff straight away on the board, and then you can use Cthulhu's third ability to AoE if the attacks didn't kill off what you was hoping for. So it's a very good turn to wipe the board out if you manage to, you know, survive and they don't focus down a specific minion to prevent that. And then on the bench, obviously Cookie is there to give them extra health to ensure that happens. And then you've got Skymore Rogers to speed stuff up in the late game as well, with the Technician being able to chuck out a Yeshuraj extra again, or the one that's probably most likely going to survive is Cthulhu. And getting that 7 speed into a 2 speed, dealing damage, summoning a tentacle, is obviously really good as well. And the AoE from Rogers is just nuts as well if they're using a fast end game bench. Vol'jin obviously is going to speed us up, but we don't really benefit from Vol'jin on the bench. It's only really the first 3 units. So once something dies off, you're going to bring the Vol'jin out, which is going to help the other 2 units get a little bit of work done. But this is very underplayed and very low on win rate, so even though it sounds good on paper, it isn't performing as well as the other ones might. So I'll filter through and see where these comps range. So we got the top 50. We have obviously the one with the Heart of Yeshuraj has been knocked out. So we have these comps are all doing fairly okay, all above 50, apart from the bottom one. And then in the top 20, it only goes down to 2. So we have the Idol with Yeshuraj, the Maestro bench, and obviously the Vol'jin. So this is the most popular one, 710 games in the top 20, doing pretty good stuff. And then below that, with a lower win rate, lower game sample size, you have the actual Queen Azura with the summon version. So definitely try that out if you prefer summons. If you don't have your Yogg or your Maestro quite maxed, then you can always sub out the others. And then in the top 10, obviously, just the one that everybody has been playing. Win rate still managing to be solid, over 10k. So you got the Idol. Yogg is running the one where you Battlecry refresh. And then there's is obviously using the passive deal damage at the start of the turn, because that is the better one all round, really. And then Vol'jin's Ring of Haste, Maestro's Mask of Mimicry, and then Cthulhu is running the bench buff, so that every time N'Zoth summons something, Cthulhu is getting bigger. So I am going to filter out Cthulhu and see where these guys match up against other comps. So here we have Cthulhu is actually number 1. So the one we was talking about, which obviously dropped off after we go all players. So once we hit top 50, it drops off. And this is the Heart of Yeshuraj comp with obviously the battle cries, the summon, the AoE, sorry, Vol'jin with the Ring of Haste, Maestro with the Mask of Mimicry, and Cthulhu with obviously the bench buff as well. Very low games, but it has the highest win rate of all comps at the moment in the all player range. So I imagine that's going to be probably below the 5,900 rating, because of it just drops off as soon as you get above that. So I wouldn't recommend playing that version of the comp above top 50, honestly. So if your MMR is higher than 5.9, which it's obviously going to be this late in the season, then yeah, I would avoid that one personally. But at the top 50, so Cthulhu, I believe, is the 7th comp down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So doing fairly decent stuff. 880 games, so a nice sample size, 59.6%. So if you want to be playing this comp, it is doing pretty well. It's doing as well as the Pirates, doing as well as a Trigor Kazagas Valera build. So yeah, definitely a solid comp to play. This is the one with the Idol, the Battle Cry, and the passive, and then the Ring of Haste, the Mask of Mamakai, and Cthulhu's bench buff. So that's where Cthulhu matches up in the top 50. Now in the top 20, I believe it hasn't changed. So in this, it's still 7 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7 down. Win rate has dropped a little bit, but this is obviously less game sample size as well. So the same comp as before, just doing a little bit worse for wear in the top 20 range. And then in top 10, it's actually improved again. So it's actually gone up to 5th spot. So it's actually on the very first thing. You don't have to scroll down. And it is the same comp, 59.8 again with 350 games played, which is really good for a comp that, you know, people may not necessarily have maxed straight away, but definitely doing some solid things against a lot of the good meta comps as well. So Cthulhu, all in all, definitely has made an impact on the meta. Not as much as people may hope. I was kind of hoping that it was more of a universal minion instead of just being an old god comp. There's not really anything else you could put it in at the minute other than in an old god comp, and we know we're not going to be getting any more of those because we have all 4 now. So Cthulhu is kind of just going to be okay and not meta breaking, meta defining like perhaps Localar and Elise and Trigor definitely all have been in, well, not only in the past but now. So that's kind of it for this meta video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope this was a little bit of an insight on how well Cthulhu is doing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It means the absolute most to me, and you will be entered into the giveaway where a video hopefully will be coming out by the end of the week. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.